Hey everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Today we're going to be checking out a couple of the similarities and the differences between the 2025 Suzuki King Quad 750 power steering and the 2025 Yamaha Kodiak 700 power steering. Let's check them out. Okay guys, so like I say, on the right here we have our 2025 Yamaha Kodiak 700 and the 2025 Suzuki King Quad 750. Very similar ATVs, obviously similar engine size, similar in physicality. Technically speaking, the closest Yamaha model to the Suzuki King Quad 750 would be the Grizzly 700, just simply because it has a little bit taller suspension setup and taller handlebars. But we're out of the Grizzlies right now, so I'm just going to use this for some comparison. So like I say, very similar models, and I just wanted to compare the two and show you just how close in build quality and design these things really are. I've always held Honda, Yamaha, Suzuki, and Kawasaki as well, up to the same standard as one or the other. And I think they do a great job with the build quality and the reliability and dependability on these things. First things first, I'm going to go ahead and start off with the Suzuki. So the Suzuki King Quad 750 that you see here in front of you is coming at you in the camo color scheme. This is their special edition, so you get the camo paint scheme, you get the souped up wheel package, and the hand guards that Suzuki started outfitting on these machines. As you can see, these things are built in the USA, just like they have posted up there. This particular model has power steering, has two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, all-wheel drive. Over here on the right-hand side, again, 2025 Kodiak 700. This also has power steering. Yamaha does a great job with the Ultramatic transmissions on these things. So that is one design difference that they hold above the competition. So they have a 10-year warranty on just the drive belt alone on these things. Nobody else does that, which is pretty impressive. But same thing here, two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, differential lock on both this and the King Quad 750 as well. So let's dive into some of the specifics here. So getting into the Suzuki King Quad 750, on this particular machine, let's talk engine first. So we have a 720cc liquid cooled dual overhead cam single cylinder engine. These are liquid cooled, like I say, fuel injected, of course. Everything is nowadays for the most part, but dual overhead cam. This bad boy is putting out 49.6 horsepower. Working our way over to the Kodiak 700. Now this particular model has a 686cc liquid cooled single overhead cam single cylinder, also putting out 49.6 horsepower. Obviously, with these being utility machines, capability is an important factor. So on our Kodiak 700, you have a front rack capacity of 110 pounds. On the rear rack, you have a rear rack capacity of 198 pounds. Overall 1,300 pound towing capacity. And I'll go to the back here so you can see we do have a full-size receiver hitch on this model and this model as well, but we do have a trailer hitch already outfitted with this particular model, but full-size receiver hitch on both machines. So like I say, 1,300 pound towing capacity on the Kodiak, 198 pound, as you can see, where's it at here? 198 pound cargo capacity on the rear rack, and they post a 110 pound capacity on the front. Now, if we move over to the Suzuki, as a matter of fact, they actually, according to their warning sticker here, they have a 66 pound cargo capacity on the front. And if we go to the back here, you have a 132, let's see, where's it at? They have the little, warning sticker right there, 132 pound cargo capacity on the back. I don't know if they're trying to be a little bit conservative on that side of things. I'm sure this thing could probably take a little bit more weight than 66 pounds on the front, but I mean, they both have a really beefy suspension setup on both ATVs, so I'm sure you could probably carry just as much on the King Quad as you could on the Kodiak. And you can actually see, if you stand back, this thing does set up taller than what the Kodiak does. So now, whereas you had 1,300 pound towing capacity on the Kodiak, this you have a 1,322 pound towing capacity on this. So it's a 22 pound difference. Like I say, they're pretty equal in comparison in that nature. So in terms of capability, yes, Suzuki's, warning labels, their cargo capacity is a little bit lower than what the Kodiak is, but like I say, same beefy suspension or similar beefy suspension between the two. You could probably carry as much on the King Quad as you could on the Kodiak. Now, overall weight on the King Quad 750 is coming in at 721 pounds. So 721 pounds on the King Quad 750 and 659 pounds on the Kodiak 700. There's CJ the man getting back from lunch. What up, yo?
Can't go wrong with a King Quad.
That's right. That's right. Tell us about it.
Oh man, King Quads are awesome. Probably my favorite overall lineup, just because it's a great all-around machine. Coolest thing, I don't know if you mentioned it, but Suzuki actually recently upgraded their factory warranty. Best in the business now, 2 years from the factory on all of their King Quad lineups.
Yep, good point, good point.
Really phenomenal machines. And the 750 especially. You can have a blast on those things. Never lacking for torque, never lacking for power.
Yep.
I just love the overall build quality.
Yeah.
Independent suspension, great tow capacity. Like I said, can't go wrong with them, man.
Built in the US of A.
Hell yeah.
Yep, man. Thank you. All right, guys, so let's talk about drivetrain real quick. So on the King Quad 750, you have an automatic variable ratio V-belt, centrifugal clutch on this bad boy. Actually, let me go to the other side. That would make more sense. There we go. So yeah, V-belt, centrifugal clutch on this. You have high, low, neutral, and reverse, as you can see right up here. So high, low, neutral, reverse. These do not have a park position, but you do have a parking brake. This is your rear brake, as a matter of fact, up there. You got a front brake here and another rear brake down there. And then going back to what I was saying about Yamaha's Ultramatic transmission on these things. So they have the Ultramatic V-belt with all-wheel drive engine braking. Now, technically, engine braking is kind of a characteristic of most belt drive transmissions by nature, but kind of like Polaris, these actually have a little bit more of an engine brake to the belt system, to that Ultramatic system, than most other belt drive ATVs. But now with this one, you do get high, low, neutral, reverse, and park. So you do have a park, reverse, neutral, high, and low there on the left-hand side. No parking brake on this guy here, but again, you have rear brake, front brake, and another rear brake down by your foot. Let's talk about fuel size. So on the King Quad, there is no fuel cap up front here. No, that is not a fuel cap. That's actually storage right there. But your fuel cap is right there behind you. 4.6 gallon fuel tank on this. So 4.6 gallon fuel tank on the King Quad and 4.8 gallon fuel tank on the Kodiak. If I back up here a little bit, you can kind of see both machines actually have the same size tires. You have 25 by 8 by 12s on the front and 25 by 10 by 12s on the rear. So again, that's 25, 8, 12 on the front, 25, 10, 12 on the rear. And let's talk overall ground clearance. So on the King Quad 750, now, again, I'm just going off of spec here, what both manufacturers post. So you guys can also find this information on their website, but this is one thing that I hold the King Quad over. You can physically tell it's got more ground clearance than what the Kodiak does. However, if you go to the websites of both manufacturers, the Kodiak supposedly has 10.8 inches worth of ground clearance, and the King Quad has 10.2 inches worth of ground clearance. So they say it's a little bit less, but technically the King Quad has a little bit more. Last but not least, let's talk about warranty. So very important. So as CJ had mentioned a couple minutes ago, Suzuki upped their warranty on their ATVs. So they give you a 24-month limited factory warranty on the entire ATV. So 24-month, that's a 2-year limited factory warranty. Yamaha has a 6-month warranty. So you go from a 2-year warranty to a 6-month warranty. However, that Ultramatic transmission that Yamaha has produced on these things does have a 10-year belt warranty. So Ultramatic has a 10-year V-belt warranty that Yamaha has to offer. So I would like to see a little bit more of a limited warranty or factory warranty on the Kodiak, but you know, these are phenomenal brands. Anything can happen. They are very well built, great build quality, very dependable, very reliable. Anything can happen. Nowadays, everything's fuel injected. There's so much electronics wrapped up into these ATVs nowadays. Anything can happen mechanically or electronically, but it's nice to know that Suzuki kind of stands by their product with a 24-month warranty. You know, and like I say, Yamaha doing all right with their 6-month warranty, but like I say, nice to have a little bit more coverage, which you can actually get extended coverage if you wish to do so at the dealer. So let's get a little bit more of a close-up to these things. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what the console looks like here. So you get your key right up here front and center. If you look, you have your headlights and your auxiliary light. So if you turn one click to the right, it turns your headlights on down below. And then one more click turns your pod light on, so you have all three. On your left-hand side, you have your parking brake. Also, your rear brake is what that is. High beam, low beam. Got your start button, kill switch, and your reverse override. On the right-hand side, you get your front brake, your throttle. Right now, it's in two-wheel drive. You have four-wheel drive and differential lock right there. Pretty much the simple stuff up on your display. It's going to show you your hours, odometer, speedometer, gear indicator, fuel gauge, time, things like that. And like I said, it showed you on the left-hand side, you have low, high, neutral, and reverse. In terms of storage, Suzuki did a great job. Like I say, no, this is not a fuel cap. This is a dry box up here. So you can see, got some dry storage here. It is waterproof, so you got some sealant in there. And if we go to the back, you have two more storage boxes back here. So there's this one here and one right there on your left-hand side. Good bit of storage right there, okay? Now, if I go over to the Kodiak, you have just this one storage box. Now, it does give you a good bit of storage in there, which is pretty nice. I would like to see, you know, maybe another little storage box, maybe behind the taillight or something like that. Being a utility machine, I think storage is very important, but, you know, not to knock the Kodiak. I think they did a great job. You know, I do like the fact that this is right up there, you know, at hand's reach. So anything you need to get to really quick, it's right there. So super simple and easy. I do get this question a lot. So on your racks, you do have metal racks on both machines, obviously. This one is covered with the plastic cover here. That's simply just to give you a little bit more surface area to tie some stuff down. So if you get buckets or anything like that you're tying down, you just simply have a little bit more surface area. You still have the metal rack underneath here, and this is actually pretty sturdy plastic. I mean, you'd have to really purposefully try and break that to snap it or anything like that, or crack it, but it's just there to give you a little bit more surface area. Same thing up front here, you do have the metal racks underneath. Now, the one thing I'll tell you, if you're checking coolant or anything like that, or topping off the radiator, you do have to remove this plastic rack because there's a lid underneath there to get to your radiator if you want to top that off or whatever. Just give you a quick close-up of the suspension here. You can see, like I say, there's your radiator up there. These are liquid-cooled machines. You have your suspension, independent suspension on both, by the way. So you have independent suspension on both ATVs, front and rear, of course, with the preload adjustment on all four shocks. You can do that. Same thing on the Kodiak. So let's go ahead and switch over to the Kodiak here. So like I say, metal rack. Now, one thing that to me stands out, the Kodiak above the Suzuki, is this front end protection. So you do have a brush guard. It's small, but they at least give you a little bit of a bumper up front there, which is pretty nice. Like I say, you have the headlights just like the Suzuki. You got the two headlights here, and then you have the pod light, which on Yamaha, you're going to turn the key on, and you actually have off, low beam, and high beam. High beam turns on all three lights. So the console on this one here, like I say, you have a rear brake and a front brake. Got your throttle. Right now it's in two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, and then flip that over, and you're in differential lock. And I've always liked that, same thing with Kawasaki, the Yamaha, you can actually hear it lock in, which is pretty cool. So pretty neat. Over here we have our start button, engine cutoff switch, and our reverse override. So you'll notice, like, our handlebar setup is very similar from the Yamaha to the Suzuki. Very, very similar. And same information up here on your display. Speedometer, fuel gauge, odometer, coolant temperature it's reading out right now. You know, you can pull your hour meter up and things like that. Like I say, you have storage up here. According to Yamaha, 9-pound load limit. But you do have a good bit of storage up here. And down on the right-hand side, you can see we have a 12-volt accessory outlet. So if you want to plug anything in there, you can. I did fail to mention the Suzuki also has a 12-volt accessory outlet up there too. So if you need that, it's there. I'll go ahead and zoom in here on your suspension. Like I say, independent suspension the whole way around with preload adjustment on all four shocks if you ever need to do that. And I know everybody likes to look underneath the seat, so I'll go ahead and pop the seat off here so you can see not a whole lot to cover really. Bunch of electrical stuff I don't get involved with, but toolkit. battery. And then here at Twig Cycles, anything that we set up out of the crate, we put a battery tender or a trickle charger lead on. So you can see that there. And on the Yamaha, there's no latch. You just simply pull straight up on the seat. You can see not a whole lot to cover here either. Get your air box there, fuel tanks right there. Like I say, you get your fuel cap on your right hand side. And I'll show you down underneath here as well, as again, independent suspension the whole way around. So pretty nice. Both manufacturers, they give you a little bit of, I almost don't want to call it protection, but you have these little plastic covers to protect your A-arms there. Same thing on Suzuki, they do the same thing. I want to jump back to the ground clearance here. You know, it looks dead similar. Yamaha is saying this has 10.8 inches worth of ground clearance. I could just grab a tape measure and measure it, but 10.8 and 10.2 on the Suzuki. But I would argue to say they're either equal, if not the Suzuki be a little bit taller actually. So there's just kind of a quick walk around of these ATVs, guys. Like I say, I hold the Suzuki and the Yamaha up to the very same standard in terms of build quality, dependability, reliability. They're very well built units. There's things that Suzuki did right that maybe Yamaha didn't, and vice versa. You know, Suzuki's got the 2-year warranty to cover their product. You know, they believe in it, and you know, if anything goes wrong in the next 2 years, motor wise, you know, mechanical or electrical, Suzuki stands by it for 24 months. Whereas Yamaha, they only offer a 6-month warranty from the factory, which you can extend, but they do cover that belt system, which is, you don't hear this from any other manufacturer. They have a 10-year warranty on that Ultramatic belt setup. So pretty cool. Like I say, if you stand back, you know, you get a front and rear luggage rack on both machines, same size tires on both units. I do like the fact that the Yamaha actually has a brush guard on the front. The Suzuki, you can get a brush guard from the factory, although if you ask me, a utility machine should come with one from the factory. One of the upgrades that they did to these for 2025 was add the hand guards. So just a little bit of small protection there. Any little bit of added value is pretty neat, you know, when you get that from a manufacturer. So, but just in terms of overall build quality, these things are solid units. They're dependable. They just did a great job with the build quality on these. And again, they're dependable, they're reliable, all that good stuff. Anything can happen with any manufacturer nowadays. You know, everything's fuel injected. Everything's got a little itty bitty computer inside telling it what to do. You know, there's so much electronics wrapped up in these things. Anything can happen, but you know, at least, like I say, you have warranty and extended warranties that you can always purchase at the dealership to help, you know, back up that product. So I'm just trying to walk around and let you guys get a view of the machine pretty much. Give you a full 360. You get 3 headlights on both machines. You get the 2 at the bottom, the 1 at the top. Same thing over here. You get 2 headlights with the pod light, which is pretty neat. I like that they put the pod light actually on the handlebar so you can kind of point and aim it where you need it to. Both machines actually have power steering as well. So that's a question that I do get. Is power steering valuable? It's very nice to have on these heavier ATVs, especially once you lock it in 4-wheel drive or differential lock, let alone adding the weight of a plow on the front of these things, because they do become very cantankerous when you're trying to steer, especially off-road. Or in the snow or anything like that. You know, with any added weight on the front, they become cantankerous to try and steer without power steering. So yes, I'm going to tell you 100% get the power steering. Just pay the extra couple $100 and get power steering. It is nice to have. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here, guys. Yeah, so 2025 Suzuki King Quad 750 power steering and 2025 Yamaha Kodiak 700, both excellent machines. Whichever one you decide to purchase, you're not going to make a bad decision either way. I would tell you to visit your local dealership. If you're local to Hagerstown, stop one in here, 200 South Edgewood Drive. Take one of these for a spin and see which one fits you best. You might feel better on the Yamaha or you might feel better on the Suzuki. You're not going to make a bad decision either way. They're both great quality machines. They're very well built, dependable, reliable, the whole 9 yards. So if you guys have any questions, just hit me up. Leave your question in the comment section below, like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.